I first met Sammy Zone at the Lemon Tree in Queens. He was performing one night and I just happened to be there. And we exchanged numbers quickly. I really didn't know who Sammy was. I didn't know the music. But he had told me what records he worked on. And I said, well, let's see. But I have some tracks and let's see what happens. So he came and in that first meeting, he ended up writing to this one track that had the same chords as the Jasmine on the Loose record. So he started playing around with some melodies, and right away I heard the tone of his voice, and instinctually I set up the mic and I said, whatever you're gonna do, just do it into the microphone so that we don't lose any ideas. By the time that particular session, our first meeting was over, he had written the song to Without You, which ended up being, I think, one of the best records that I produced in 20 years. And even with all the previous work that Sammy had done, this was by far, something special. And we were just taken aback by the reaction. It pushed us to do a second release. And that second release turned out to be titled Running. It was an original song that Sammy wrote, but it was called Running. In one of the sessions where we were doing harmonies and backgrounds, there was a moment where I just played the beat.
I heard the beat. It was just the drums, and the drums were just amazing.
And Sammy he was on a mic, and he just started to sing Information Society's Running.
And I started singing, playing around, hot, steamy night. And all of a sudden, Carlos says, hold on, wait a minute.
And when I heard it, I said, well, that's, I like that. Let's record it. So I set up a whole, bunch of new tracks, and he did, he recorded it. He recorded it very quickly because, it was just, we were kind of goofing around.
From the truth, yes, I'm running. I'm running. I'm running. I'm running from the truth, yes, I'm running.
When you're working with Carlos, you never know how long it's gonna take. It could either take a week or it can take 3 years. I'm working with the mad scientist.
I don't know if you guys know, but me and Carlos are pretty good friends, and we communicate a lot on the phone regarding projects and documentaries and just about anything. He called me, and I said, sure. I think he called Kay from TKA, K7, and then C-Bank. Brenda, he also called her. Sorry, is it Brenda or C-Bank? You can talk now, because he's going to cut this all out anyway.
Yeah, he didn't call me now. I did this 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. No, but this is the new one.
Hi, my name is Brenda, also known as C-Bank, also known as Joey May. Many times, Carlos would call me up if he was working on a track and he wanted me to just lay down some reference vocals. And I did. I would jump at every opportunity because it was an opportunity, of course, and I love doing it, and I love working with Carlos. He's great. He always makes me sound amazing.
Brenda being on the record, to me, it's that little sprinkle of magic. Number one, she's a survivor and she's a fighter, and she's been a friend in and out of music for so many years. And I commend Sammy for inviting her to be on the track, and I love the way she sounds on it.
For those of you that know Carlos, Carlos is a perfectionist. It has to be done right. So we went and we rented a studio over, out in Queens. This guy that does mastering, he has an amazing studio. And we laid the vocals down in there. They blew me out the box. They blew me away. I'm so humbled, and I'm very appreciative that I have those opportunities to have worked with such amazing, iconic freestyle artists.
Usually when I work with other people, when I'm recording in the studio with other people, there's always a hesitance. And for me, it was just natural. I need glasses to read.
Me too.
And I'm reading without having it.
Oh.
I was at home with my friends, and we're having a good time.
I'm real good friends with Sammy Zone as well, and Sammy Zone has done a lot of stuff for me in the past. So he's a great singer, so I figured, yeah, let me get down. I mean, it really sounds good. I'm all about getting down with projects. If they sound whack and I'm not gonna benefit from it, then, I mean, it sounds selfish, but it's the reality. That's just the way it is. It's a two-way street, you know? So if it sounds great and it's done with good, talented individuals, then I'm down. If it's whack, I don't wanna do it. So it's good.
The one thing I'm mad about, and I have to drink coffee just to make me feel better, is that Suave didn't show up to the session. And I'm like, why not?
Unfortunately, my good friend Suave was not able to get on this record, but I want to make mention of that. We tried, right, Jeff?
So I remember having a really long day at work, and I was kind of busy just running around like a maniac, and I get a phone call from Sammy Zone in the middle of my busy moment, and he's like, yo, Suave, I need your help. We're gonna be doing running. And I can't tell you everything that's going on, because you know how Carlos is, he's secretive. He doesn't want anybody to know everything about anything, but you're gonna be part of the crew, and we're gonna get you down here. I need you to come and do vocals, and I'll let you know when. I'm not exactly sure when, but just be ready for it. And we got the whole posse coming. So
If you ever have a conversation with Carlos and you ever see hesitance, it's not that he doesn't like you, it's that he has to feel right and say the things when the moment is necessary.
Not knowing how they were going to respond to a vinyl release, the collectors really, and the DJs that still play vinyl. I wasn't sure, so I pulled out all the stops. I wanted to do a dub version, the way we used to do them before on the SSL, you know, where we used to play the console like as if it was a keyboard, you know, as if it was an instrument, and also the tape edits.
But he did it the old-fashioned way, just like it used to be done back then, which is pretty much taking tape and splicing it up and taping it up and just, you know, going in and cutting that whole reel to pieces and making these rhythms that sound really, really good. There's a real art form to that. It's sad that it's kind of been lost a little bit, but with this project, it's kind of cool. That's what this project is pretty much is about. Is besides it being a remix, yeah, you're gonna see the process of what he went through to edit this song.
I hadn't done anything like that in almost 30 years. And it was just something I wanted to do. And it was hard because after 30 years, you don't realize how slow the technology really is. Creatively, the way your mind sort of gets into the creative process, it took me a while. I was very rusty. But by the time I was done, you know, I felt like I had it back.
The advantages of having someone as veteran as Carlos as a friend and as a mentor, he needed a spot to audition, or should I say listen to, the remixes, the dubs, I should say, of the running after it was done. And I have to say, when he played it, I looked at him with a mean grin, because he was about to elevate the level at which other producers would have to release their stuff, because it was incredible.
I know I made a big mistake.
My boys, the Santana Twins. So they're always trying to get me into their studio. They're always trying to show me their new keyboards, of which they have a lot of, and they continue to buy keyboards. But I really love their setup. I love that they're 5 minutes away from me. And, you know, so I do go visit them, and they visit me here, and we talk for hours and hours about equipment and music. When we needed a place to do the Spanish vocals, we chose the Santana Twins studio. They were very kind in letting us use their facility.
A friend of mine was having a video shoot, and he invited me. So I came down, and who do I bump into? My longtime friend, Angel Ramirez of the Barrio Boys.
I told him, you know what, Sammy? What do you think about maybe doing the song in Spanish? Do something a little different, you know, think out of the box and do something in Spanish. And he was like, oh, I never thought of that.
And he was like, oh man, yo, you know what'd be dope? Yo, if you did this in Spanish, forget about it.
Let me get together with my writing team, Aníbal Lleras. Thank you to him. That's my silent partner. He's amazing. He's incredible. Worked with Barrio Boys as well.
Next thing you know, Angel calls me up and he's like, yo, brother, I want you to hear this. He actually wrote it. He wrote it, rewrote it in Spanish for me in a way that I was like, wow.
We offered our place. Just our mic wasn't as high-powered as his, so I said, you're going to have to bring your mics, and he brought his mic, and we set up the date, and they came through.
Let me tell you something. I had no idea it was going to be that hard to sing in Spanish.
I'll tell you what, if there was any song that I'd want to be a part of, running defines freestyle to me. I mean, every single person has a story about running.